About 35 years ago, a special building was constructed in Vancouver to withstand earthquakes in an area known for its share of earth tremors. It's called the Qube, but now it's being retrofitted to become condominiums, and that conversion process is giving engineers a unique opportunity to take a look at the building from the inside out, to see how it was designed and look for clues as to why it's withstood so much. Here's Mark Miller with the details.
Look around almost any busy downtown core and you'll see the building boom is on. But in among all that new construction is one building. It's way ahead of its time. As man was landing on the moon in 1969, construction workers were going where no building had gone before. In the heart of the West Coast earthquake zone, they were putting up what was considered the safest office tower of its time. 35 years later, people are still amazed by the suspension building.
I think everybody in Vancouver knows this building.
Mihail O'Keefe is the structural engineer in charge of a new project to turn it into condos.
People talk about it as being the earthquake-proof building. There's really no such thing as an earthquake-proof building because there can always be a larger earthquake. But for its day, this was certainly well above what a typical building was capable of resisting.
At its heart is a single concrete pillar sunk deep into the ground. The building's most distinctive quality is a series of large steel cables that run off the top. They look a bit like giant elastic bands.
4 points on every side. They all meet up at the top. There's a series of anchors that tie them into the concrete up there.
The steel cables are the same type used in suspension bridges. In fact, this building has more in common with this suspension bridge than it does with traditional office towers. The cables run down the side of the building and hold each floor in place, much like a suspension bridge holds the road deck in place.
Show me one of these cables that's carrying all this energy.
You can see the cables here built into the exterior wall, encased for both, largely for fireproofing. Obviously a little repair needs to be done here, but you can actually see the cable. In each one of these, there's 4 such cables, so 2 in the front, 2 in the back. They reduce as you go down the building. You need fewer cables. So I think by the time we get to the last floor, there's only 2 cables.
So is there an anchor system sort of halfway down, a flight system?
Every floor has an anchor system that grabs onto that cable.
Are the cables being replaced? Are they the same
No,
cable?
the cables are staying. The original cables have been inspected, and they're good for another 50 years, so they're being left.
When it was built, the top floor was hung first and workers made their way down towards the ground. Usually it works the other way around. As each floor was added, more weight was transferred to that central core. With all the weight in one place, there was no need for pillars or columns, which are used in most buildings today. So how does that make this building earthquake resistant?
By carrying all the weight of the building on the central core, it would take an awful lot more energy to push that core over in an earthquake compared to a more traditional layout, which has only a small portion of the weight carried by the core. So the idea was that this building could absorb an awful lot more earthquake energy before suffering any damage.
The other big advantage of not having columns on the inside cutting up the building? Open floors. It means interior designers can lay out living units however they want, making the Qube one of the most efficient buildings anywhere. In a place where condos are getting squeezed smaller and smaller, the rooms in this building seem surprisingly big. While the idea of a suspended building was a good one, it never did catch on. As the cables are on the outside, the structure will stretch on hot days. While the core stays cool, it doesn't expand. The floors in this building flex slightly, 5/8 of an inch over 15 stories. Not really noticeable, but in a taller building, the problem would compound. The second problem was the cost. The Qube was an expensive building to put up in its time. Traditional pillared buildings are cheaper, and advances in earthquake design like dampening systems and shock absorbers have achieved the same level of seismic safety. When the Qube is finally finished, it will once again be one of the safest buildings on the West Coast, the place to be in an earthquake. The core is being reinforced with carbon wrap to meet new, stricter building codes and to add strength.
The carbon fiber itself is, extraordinarily strong. They build fighter planes out of this stuff. So it's actually far stronger than the rebar that's in the wall or the concrete that's on the wall. We're actually limited in how much of its strength we can use. We will never even come close to using the full capacity of that carbon fiber.
The Qube will be done by the end of the summer, and once again the building will be ready to take on anything nature throws at it.